Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today, friends, it is time to add another month into my reading journal. So even though we are coming up very quickly on the end of May, we are just now documenting all of my reads for April. So I'm a little behind. I've been putting it off a bit, if I'm being honest, because I did not initially have that great of a reading month in April. It was kind of a blah month for me in general, and I was knee deep in my Desperate Housewives rewatch, which I just finished all 8 seasons. I'm going to miss it. But so I really had not read that much throughout the month of April. So right at the end, I really tried to make it happen at the end of April, the beginning of May. So a few of these we might be fibbing on the actual date of completion, but it's my reading journal. I don't mind. It works out good for me. So there you have it. So we ended up with our 7 books for April that we can document. So it all worked out good for me. So there, that first spread that always goes by really quickly is my bookish year, and that's where I pop on all of my really small book covers. They are printed off at a 0.6 by 0.9 size. They're quite small. I add them in and then move right along. So now we're going to favorites. I'll get more in detail about my favorite book of the month, but it was Bloom by Delilah Dawson, I do believe. I'm going to give you a close-up of the pen that I'm using here. But yes, we will talk about that book a little bit more as we go. Now, the pen is an erasable pen. So I've had people in the comments say good things and bad things about these erasable pens. For me, it's worked out great. I've heard tips like not to get your notebook wet or to leave it out like in the heat, maybe the humidity, it can mess with it. But of course, I just leave this book in my craft room, so nothing ever happens. It works out really nicely for me because I absolutely love being able to erase some of this stuff whenever I make a mistake. I think it's awesome. So it's worked out nicely. So I added in my 7 books for the Goodreads challenge there. I did not purchase any books for the month of April, so I didn't have anything to put in that area. And then now we're moving on to the Cozy Mystery Book Club. So this month we read Cold Clay, which is it's the second book in the Shady Hollow mystery series. It's really cute. It's about a community of animals, and they are like, instead of people, they're animals. So they wear cute clothes, they have jobs, they go to the coffee shop, all of the things. And of course, there's a murder mystery that we must solve throughout. So I popped that book in place as well. And then we're moving on to the book Shelfie. So for this one, I just had 3 and 4-star reads this month, and that is how I do my color coding for my shelf. So I'm adding in these kind of bluish green color there for the 4 stars and the pink for the 3 stars. Then of course I add on all of my book titles. A lot of these for these smaller books are abbreviated, but really, at the end of the day, I just love to see the colorful bookshelf once the year is over. So that is really my goal. Then we're going to move on. Well, I think at first we're going to move on to the monthly spread, but I do flip it back to the Cozy Bingo. So this is something that I have not really filled out much here in these videos. So what I did was off camera, I kind of read through them to find a few that I knew had happened in the last maybe 2 or 3 Cozy Mysteries that I've read. So I wanted to color them in and mark them off my bingo board. So they were a cozy mystery that involved a map or a puzzle, a long-lost relative, a cozy mystery that had a mysterious letter, one that took place during a holiday, and also, of course, this happens in just about every cozy, the sleuth confronts the killer alone. That's a must. So I had to mark all of those off, and it is really fun to color them in. And then of course the Cozy Bingo will end up being super colored. So you can see some of them I drew little circles or squares, made them a little more intricate, somewhat, a little more detailed. These I just went ahead and colored in, but as long as they have a little bit of color to them, I'm happy with that. So then we're going to move on to the real meat and potatoes of my reading journal, my favorite part every month, which is my monthly spread. So we're going to do this the same as we do each month. You'll see me referring back to the previous one there just for reference, but I'm grabbing out, I do believe that these were Ali Edwards stamps. So I'm going to grab these. I'm going to, of course, stamp out April at the top. I chose kind of a orangey reddish color. It's really more orange, I think, but it might show up a little red on camera. But like an orangey red here from the Catherine Pooler ink pad set that I'm using. And then I have a decently corresponding mild liner marker that I'm going to use for all of my little details and all of that as we are really getting into the spread. So the first thing that I do after I stamp on the title is I'm going to draw my page borders for both the left page and the right side. So you'll see me do this now, and then we'll start adding all of the like subtitle stamping and all that kind of good stuff. So as I'm starting to fill this out, I am going to talk a little bit about some of the books that I read throughout the month, and I might interrupt myself to explain a thing or two as we go. But yeah, so I did make it to 7 books this month. Wink, wink. I didn't finish all of them in April, but like I said, we are just rolling with it. So just trust me. These are the books that we're documenting. It's okay. So what I ended up doing was, because the month was kind of blah and I was not reading as much as I could have, I ended up going with much shorter, easier books to complete. So actually this month, I listened to a very quick play called Fat Ham. Now that play was a Black queer retelling of Shakespeare's Hamlet. Now I'm not personally familiar with really Shakespeare or Hamlet at all, but I thought it was really, really good. And the audiobook, I believe that it was free with an Audible subscription. I think I loved it. I thought it was so fun because it's a full cast audiobook, and it really truly felt like I was like watching a play, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was really, really good. I gave it 4 stars, and it was a fun time. It was also extremely quick. I could listen to it fast. I can't remember how like long the audiobook was, but I probably listened to it in an hour or less. I do speed up my books though. Then I also read 2 different graphic novels this month. The number 16 in the Blood on the Track series, which is one obviously that I have been reading for months and months now. So I picked up the newer one and finished that. Also, I started a newer to me series called The Summer Hikaru Died, I think. And that one was really good as well. I actually picked up the first 3 in that manga series. So I am planning on reading the other 2 in May. So that is exciting. I really liked it. It was basically the story of a boy who went into the woods, and whenever he came back, he was different. And his best friend can tell that something is up with him, and it's very mysterious. Sometimes it's a little creepy. Sometimes he acts like his normal self. Sometimes he's a little off. So I'm very curious to like get more of that story and to figure out what is going on with that. So it's not a scary manga, but it has that little bit of like a thrilling, like a mystery kind of uneasy vibe, which I really love. So as you can see, I've added in with the small wooden stamps there, I added in my stats and my total subtitles. I also did a few little lines under stats, and that's where I'm going to write down all of my total page numbers, how many were audio, how many were physical, all my different genres, things like that. Also for total, I put 7, even though 7 is probably going to be my lucky number for the entire year, and I will probably have 7 books for every month. And that is because I found that that is a good number for me to complete throughout the month. And also it fits on here so nicely because I can, on this left side, highlight my monthly favorite book, one book that I really want to talk about. And then on the other side, 6 additional books fit so nicely over there on the right side. So that's probably going to be the same kind of thing that that you continuously see from me throughout the year. So, since we're at this part, I'll go ahead and tell you about my monthly favorite. Now, I did not happen to have any 5 stars this month, and I had many 4 stars. I think I had like at least four stars, but if I had to pick one, I ended up choosing Bloom by Delilah Dawson. I do believe that's correct. And this one was really interesting. Now, this was a novella, so it was really short. It only had 203 pages, and I did listen to this one as well on either Everand or Audible. I can't remember. But it is a sapphic romance, and it begins really sweet, but then there starts to become a sinister undertone, and it takes kind of a wild like twist as we go on. So I really enjoyed the writing. I thought it was written really beautifully, really lush, like descriptive writing, and I enjoyed that a lot. And I do like a horror book. I do like kind of body, physically horror, whatever you call that. So I enjoyed this book a lot, and I love horror books in a novella because they're not stretched out. We can get to the point quickly, and I love that. So it was a really good book for me. I mean, I knew that something was going to happen. I went into the book knowing that. So, I was expecting something, but I wouldn't say it was predictable, but I did know, okay, this is going to take some sort of turn. But I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun listening to it, and it was a wild ride. So here, I always do my monthly favorites with those same wooden stamps there and kind of have a highlighted little spot for that. Then underneath it, I use my Sophie Alpha stamp from Citrus Twist, which is one of my all-time faves there. I stamp the title, add in my star rating, and then I will kind of highlight that book by doing a fun border around it. I always put the small icon of either the open book or the headphones to show whether I listened to it or I read it physically. And then I'll add my own little review just of that one book, which is just really helpful for me personally because then I don't have to try to review every book, but I get to talk a little bit more in depth about like my favorite one for the month. Now, moving over here to the right side, you can see that I am not in any way measuring, technical, any of that. It looks kind of messy at this point, and y'all, that's just me. That's just who I am. I am not striving for perfection. So as long as I get like the gist of it, I'm good with it. The lines are not all the same size. I should have moved the boxes, like the second column should be over a little bit, but hey, it's all good. I think once everything is in place, you hardly notice it. At least I do, and it is my reading journal, so it works out okay for me. So, you know, we're striving to just have fun while we're documenting, and I enjoy looking back on this, but I'm definitely not looking for some sort of like bullet journal perfection here. Never will you find that on my channel. So let's see, did I talk about all the books? Now, I also listened to the audio of The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. I mean, I enjoyed it. It may be my fault. I stretched this one out for a really long time, and maybe I should have listened to it quicker, and maybe I would have been a little more interesting. But to me, it was a bit like predictable, and I was not thrilled at all with it. So I gave it a 3. Like, I enjoyed it enough, but it was not my fave. Then we have Cold Clay and also Evergreen Chase, which are both from the Shady Hollow Cozy Mystery series, as I mentioned before. So Cold Clay was the book club book of the month. I gave it 3 stars. And then also the book club, they let me know that on Kindle you could get a couple short stories that went along with the book series, but they're like little short stories that they put in there, one for Christmas and one for Halloween. So I plan on reading the Halloween one in May as well, but I finished the Christmas one throughout the April reads, and again, I gave it 3 stars. Now, the reason why I'm giving these 3 stars is because I absolutely love the writing. They are so charming, so cute. I love the characters. I love the descriptions of the town. It has all of those things that I am looking for in a cozy mystery. except for the mystery. To me, the mysteries are so juvenile and written like a young adult book or something, where I'm just like, immediately I figure this out. And you guys, I'm not a good sleuth. Normally, I do not figure out these mysteries. So if I can, like, if I know who done it early on, it's not good. We need to rewrite. We need to think of something a little more tricky, okay? So I gave them 3 stars simply because I do like the writing. I probably will continue to read them, but I don't know how many, if I'm going to continue to not even be slightly thrilled. But there you have it. So now I'm going to give you a quick flip through of all of the things that we finished for today. I'm so happy to have April documented, and hopefully I will be back sooner than later to document all of my May books. I need to again buckle down here at the end of this month and make sure that I have my 7 books again to document with you guys in June. So I hope that you enjoyed this process video. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, as always, I will be back to chat with you super soon. So thank you again for watching. Have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, friends, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, y'all.